Girl, it's what I heard. Allegedly, it's just the word. Allegedly, it's on the street. Allegedly, I sing to the beat. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly, lee, lee, lee. Allegedly.
What is Danielle Staub doing here? That piece of trash. And she's got her unmoisturized feet in some beg, borrow, steal Louboutins. That's not even your color. She said I didn't get the best vibe from her, but I know a lot of fake people and she's just one of them. Ooh. Child, they is spilling the tea. We got victims on here. We got that heifer from the podcast on here. That white woman that's always in other people's business. What's her name? Heather something. So Tom owed this one heifer $12 million. Girl, he done spent all the client's money. They have his deposition on video saying, I had 80 to 50 million, but that's all gone. One, how do you have a 30 million range? I can understand maybe being off 20, even $100, but 30 million? This one woman had to be a double agent for her friend, and she said, look, if you want to find something out, don't call the FBI, call a mama. Okay, they gave us a good intro, and they got Erica looking just like Miranda Richardson up here from Sleepy Hollow. So Heather's telling us that she showed up for her podcast with hair and makeup, even though it's a podcast. Oh! Danielle Staub gonna say, I like that even though she can't hold a tune, she sang. Oh, they got the shadiest heifer for this, and I love it. So we take it back to when Girardi won that $333 million settlement, which was the biggest reward of its kind for the time. So this is when he was liquid. Let's find out when he became insolvent. Oh, God. Danielle Staub and Erica worked at the same strip club. Now that's tea. Now that's tea. I could so see it. I could completely and utterly see it crystal clear. I may not believe Danielle Staub on much, but I believe her on that. Erica and Tom got married on the spot without a prenup, but had Tom already been embezzling knowing you can't take what I've already stolen? Girardi was already running his firm very high end. They would have Leanne Rimes come in and sing for Christmas, putting people up at the Ritz-Carlton, burning through money. But at least business expenses can be written off. So he was the keeper of the keys, Mr. Connection. He could apparently make judges, a kingmaker, if you will. Even to run for public office, Gavin Newsom was up his ass because he's a major donor in California politics. Really? Can you donate what's been stolen? Or wouldn't that just be theft by default? So in 2007, it's the launch of Erica Jane, the beginning of her musical career in entertainment. I'll say she's entertaining. I ain't gonna talk about that music though. They're cute bops, but yeah, you ain't singing. You're not even singing. You don't know how to sing, but you weren't even singing. You weren't even singing. If she had done this crap in her 20s, she might have gotten somewhere. But that's like, that's a 18 to 22. So for a couple of years, she was doing Erica Jane and not making a real penny because it's expensive to be her. Then she ends up on Housewives. And so we still got to buy her more clothes, more jewelry, and more tracks. Because a good track is expensive. Now, I will say, I've said it before and they agree with me, Erica Jane leveled up Housewives. You had to start bringing the fashions. Well, except for Potomac. They haven't brought shit. Ooh, ABC News already had footage when she did an interview and showed off her Pasadena mansion, complete with a chapel. She better be praying for forgiveness now. Fast forward to her filing for divorce in 2020. I mean, shit had already started to hit the fan at that point, but it was just little turdlets. This is a dump. There's a specific echelon of housewives that fall into the category housewives with legal issues. We get to talk about Teresa, Luann, Jen Shaw. Who else? Phaedra. I can't wait for Phaedra's day in court. Now they saying Tom Girardi is senile or has dementia and he's under conservatorship. Now, I want to know, Erica, if you knew he had gone cootie, why didn't you tell anybody? Why didn't you say, oh, he shouldn't be running the business. I can tell he ain't all there anymore. You would have known. They had two airplanes, one that was regional, a quick jaunt to Palm Springs, Las Vegas, maybe San Diego. And then they had their big plane for cross country and Europe. And Europe. And Europe. All with other people's money. I don't agree with what the lawyer is saying. Okay, if he had gotten wealthy legitimately, let's say he had been smart with his money and invested wisely, opened up some franchises. I mean, really, you could have. But if you work hard for it and you treat your people right, you deserve the money that you've earned. It's about what you do with it. Are you a good person with it or a bad person with it? That's like saying, Oprah, don't you show off your diamonds. All the good work Oprah's done, let Oprah, So now we're talking to some of the victims that he owes money to. The first one is the family of the PG&E explosion. Whoa, this was a huge explosion. It was in San Bruno. So the guy's mom called her best friend to come in and help her while she was dealing with him in the hospital. Oh, the best friend was a legal consultant who got her the appointment with Girardi because they needed a good lawyer, or so they thought. So now we break down the theft. Get ready to do your math. So after the trial, the money goes into a trust account that is separate from the law firm's money. Like, it shouldn't be going towards payroll or anything. It should be basically held in escrow. And dipping into the client's account is cause for disbarment. Lord, he gonna tell them, let me invest your money for you. I'ma put it in an account that would guarantee 6% interest. Ponzi, it's a Ponzi shimmy, 6% interest. Ponzi, it's a Ponzi shimmy, you should have known better than that. Also, okay, you won me the money. You may have some money of your own. I'm going to go to somebody who does that for a living. I'm going to go to a wealth manager. Wealth management shimmy. Girl, he did know how to deal with money. He took yours. That's how he dealt with it. He took yours. Yep. He is basically putting on this nice old man persona to fleece people. Now we got Josie Hernandez, who had to sue a company who made an implant for her bladder. And she signed up with them in 2014 and settled for $135,000. And she saw a lot of lawyers come and go. And she's like, I don't know who's handling my case. Every 10 minutes it's a different lawyer. Oh my goodness, he was buttering this guy up while delaying payment. See, he never represented no black people because you can't butter us up. Child, we would have been at his house. How you gonna say, oh, the judge that's presiding over this don't think you can handle your money? I'm sorry, but the other judge awarded me this. You're not my parents. This is not a trust. Give me my coin. I am over 21. Just snowing the people. Once the settlement agreement was signed, Justice Spinelli was no longer involved. So then the friend's son ends up dying in a motorcycle accident. She has to file a wrongful death lawsuit, and nobody will take her case because she's associated with Girardi. So in 2017, Tom just stopped paying this guy altogether. Oh, so there were stories about him not paying going back 20 years. He probably used that Brockovich settlement to cover his previous debts. You know what? It's like gambling, basically. Like, he finally had one big case that got him to the good. He never expected to win that much money and to get that much of a percentage. So he was like, okay, I can do this again. But I mean, you were just pissing the money away. It's not even like, okay, I'm gonna try to make some money with this money right quick. You was just pissing it away on Erica Jane, a talentless waif. And word on the curb is Tom was broke. Everybody was talking about it. Judges knew, lawyers knew. Did you know? I was clueless. Oh, you should hear him on the tape. I don't want you to be mad at me. I'm working like a dog to get this thing resolved. Oh my, that old 1950s con artist voice. You see, that's why people is thrown. They ain't heard that in a while. They ain't watching old movies like they're supposed to. See, if you grow up watching The Bad Seed, the black and white version, you know these things. Grow up watching Dial M for Murder, you know these things. Grow up watching Rear Window, you know these things. You got to be seasoned. Oh, and don't forget about Mildred Pierce. And the Twilight Zone, the black and white Twilight Zone, because that's the same voice the charlatan used on the black and white Twilight Zone. And pick a charlatan, they had many. I know that tone. See, I think this exposes an issue in the court. The court should take the money, the actual court. It should go to the court. Then the victim and the lawyer can go down. They can cut a check for the lawyer's fees, and then they cut the victim. And then that way, everybody got their money. I don't need my shit going through no lawyer. I am okay. Good Lord. Why are they giving it to the No, I'll represent myself and have your ass as co-counsel so the check can come to me. I'm telling y'all my business anyway. So election day is when Erica filed for divorce. So there were rumors around LA not only that Tom was broke, but that Erica was out because the money had dried up. I mean, we've seen her fashions go, And now here come the loan lawsuits because he was also taking out loans against his firm because he had to steal from Peter to pay Paul. So the Rumiguez family filed a lawsuit for the remaining settlement, and Girardi agreed to pay the family $12 million. However, they ain't seen a penny. I think they got $1 million. Let's see. They got $2 million out of that $12 million settlement. So they took him back for the remaining $11 million balance and then deposed him. And that's when we found out he was broke as a he hang. Broke as a he hang. Erica Jane done spent your money. Erica Jane, she done spent your money. Cause he's broke as a he hang. And now he wanna play coop. You wasn't coop 18 months ago when you was scamming and flamming. You wasn't coop back in 2007 when you was waiting for people to wake up in the hospital. You wasn't coop then, but you're coop now. You wasn't coop on the show when you were giving Erica Jane $15 million in advice. You wasn't coop then, but you're coop now. You're coop now. And he has admitted from his own mouth, everything is gone. 50 to 80 million of the client's money is gone. Then in December 2020, a Chicago lawyer who hasn't been paid nor his clients filed suit against Tom. Y'all gonna file these suits but get worthless judgments or have to settle for pennies on the dollar. This is really sad. I mean, this is Bernie Madoff. This is even worse because Bernie was taking money from people who had money. I'm sure Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick are still doing okay. And the Chicago case is what proved to everyone he was a true fraud. Oh, this was the air crash in Indonesia. So the Chicago firm saw Erica file for divorce and they said, oh, wait a minute, he must be broke. Let's go on and file civil litigation now so we might be able to get something after she runs his pockets. Looks like there's not a pocket to be run. Ooh, they are filming right now, and this reunion, I mean, Erica is going to be center stage. Like, honestly, she deserves her own interview part of the reunion. Like, I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. Well, maybe from the peasant's pout. The audacity of caucasity. So the judge found Tom in contempt with the Chicago case and froze his accounts. This is when Erica had to start selling her clothing online. She should have just gone to Plato's Closet. Would nobody have recognized her without her glam? And this is when shit went federal. Federal. So one of the lenders said Tom gave Erica $20 million to, hold on to so that way they'd have money when times were tough, AKA when the feds came knocking. You should have put that shit in cash or gold bullion. If you're gonna steal properly. One of the lawyers is like, well, I mean, he might have a touch of dementia. Months earlier, he was speaking at events, conducting his life and business as normal. He was still the hotshot lawyer. Now all of a sudden he's a feeble coot. Oh goodness, so now the bar is finally gonna do something. Now that he done spent all the money, everybody broke. All that payment was for naught. It all went into his pockets and Erica Jane's pockets. I mean, they selling their house. An audit of past complaints filed against attorney Thomas Girardi revealed mistakes made by the bar in some investigations over the many decades of Mr. Girardi's career going back some 40 years. So basically, you can let this white man get away with shit for 40 years. 40 years. You have 40 years of documentate, and he still got away. Y'all ain't shit. Just saying. But ooh, when I did, you did, we did together. The debt that they owe in bankruptcy court, honey, they both owe. That's that till death do you part debt. I can't believe Beverly, aka Danielle Staub, aka Turnpike Twat, she said, look, don't worry about TV, just focus on what's going on in your case. Teresa focused on TV and ended up committing wire fraud and hiding evidence in bankruptcy court. Oh, they still letting the coot live in the mansion until it's sold. Erica Jane has flown the coot. Well, that was very interesting. I learned a lot. I suggest you watch it. It was a riveting. I haven't been glued to the screen like that in a minute. I was actually paying attention. But I guess it's time to clock out with Black Ink Crew.
Alleged what? Alleged who? Allegedly. Allegedly. Don't blame, don't sue. Allegedly. Allegedly. Allegedly.